Take one more minute. 2,000.
Well, there's one that I think I don't remember making it. Oh, those two.
Yeah, that's it, okay. So it's just nice to- Okay. We're all ready? Okay, it's 7 o'clock. We'll call the regular council meeting of the Township of Nipigon to order on Tuesday, March 7th, 2023. We'll read the land acknowledgement at first. In the spirit of reconciliation, the Township of Nipigon respectfully acknowledges it is located on the traditional lands of the Red Rock Indian Band, signatory to the Robinson Superior Treaty of 1850, and also the historic presence of the Métis. We'll start with item number 1. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest? Councilor Mackenzie?
Yes, just one, number 4. 4E, well, no, probably.
All right. Item number 2A, minutes, approval of previous minutes for February 21st, 2023. Does anyone have any? Might do the accounts first.
Nope.
Oh,
It
that's
should- it
later.
should be in
Okay,
order.
sorry, yeah, sorry. Great. So resolution number 52, 2023, moved by Councillor Pelletier, seconded by Councillor Mackenzie, that the previous minutes for February 21st, 2023 are hereby adopted as recorded by the deputy clerk as amended. Okay, I just want to make sure, I had a comment, and I just want to make sure that it's the correct minutes. Yeah, okay. All in favor? And carried. Okay, item number 2B, approval of special meeting minutes of March 2nd, 2023. So this is resolution number 53, 2023. Moved by Councillor Mackenzie, seconded by Councillor Pelletier, that the previous minutes of the special meeting for March 2nd, 2023 are hereby adopted as recorded by the deputy clerk. All in favor? And passed. Okay, item number 3, oath of office, A. Glenn Hart.
Would you like to stand, please? Oh, good afternoon, Mr. Hart. So this is the declaration of office under section 232 of the Municipal Act 2001. I, Glenn Hart, have been appointed to the office of councillor in the Township of Nipigon, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any improper manner.
or any corrupt
Or any improper manner.
improper manner.
I will disclose
I will disclose
any pecuniary interest,
any pecuniary interest,
direct or indirect,
direct or indirect,
in accordance with
in accordance with
the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act.
the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act.
I will be faithful
I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to His Majesty,
to His Majesty,
King Charles III.
King Charles III.
And I make this solemn promise
And I make this solemn promise
and declaration
and declaration
conscientiously,
conscientiously,
believing it to be true,
believing it to be true,
and knowing
and knowing
that it is the same force
that is the same force
and effect
and effect
as if made under oath.
and if made under oath.
Right here.
Head of the table. Welcome, Counselor Hart. Have a seat. No, you don't have your iPad yet. That's okay.
Oh, it's in here, but I don't have it. Right, nice to have. This one's a little bigger than.
Okay. Moving on to number 4, Finance A, confirm and approve accounts. This is resolution 54, 2023. Moved by Councillor Pelche, seconded by Councillor McKenzie, that the payment of accounts is listed on the following payment voucher B and the same is hereby confirmed and approved. Payment voucher number 7, 2023, in the amount of $22,180.19. And payment voucher number 8, 2023, in the amount of $270,674.10. All in favor? And carried. Okay, under Finance 4B Fire Smart Program, I'm gonna recommend that this goes into in-camera, as there will be identifiable persons discussed. Is that good with everybody?
Well, everything that I provided has been provided in open meeting, so
Okay, so it shouldn't be a problem.
I don't believe so.
Okay. All right, so we'll go into,
If anything does come up, Mayor, I will advise if there's any means.
I guess that's the impact on, I think there will be something, identifiable come up in, on my behalf, anyhow.
okay,
All right, let's move it in camera.
thank you. Number 4C, interim tax levy bylaw. So, maybe CEO Peckman, you can just, give us a little information on that.
So we pass the interim tax bylaw every year as it's a rate that we set on the previous year's taxes because the budget isn't finalized yet. So an example we'll give is if say we tax at 0.15%, okay? And council sets a tax rate for 2023 at 0.4%. The final billing will be 0.25% to equal that final tax rate. If that makes any sense. So because we don't know what the taxes are this year, if there's gonna be any increase, decrease, stay the same, we bill according to last year's billing and we make up the difference on the last billing in September, sorry.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for discussion? Yeah. So resolution 55, 2023, moved by Councillor McKenzie, seconded by Councillor Pelche, that leave be given to introduce a bylaw to provide for an interim tax levy and the payment of taxes for the year 2023. That the bylaw be read a first and second times, that the said bylaw be read a third time. Finally passed and numbered bylaw number 1920 of the Township of Nipigon. All in favor? And carried. Finance 4D 2022 fourth quarter OPP detachment revenues. Okay. So there isn't any, this is just for our information. So according to the revenue email that was sent to us, we're getting $697 due to security checks. Money received through security check, is that correct? CEO Peckman?
Yeah,
Is
it'll
that
be a
correct?
pledge or credit or our billing towards the OPP. I think.
It's a credit, okay. All right. Anybody have any questions or? Yeah. Not to be a service. Okay, finance 4E, Old Mill property. I'm going to recommend that we go into in-camera for this one as well, just so, there's amounts and names and everything coming up that we can speak freely about.
Well, I think we should, I don't know, I think I'd like to address it out and open, because I feel like,
Before we can.
Yep. And that this is, Councillor McKenzie's. key
well,
today,
that's why you're leaving, because it's me.
No, it's not.
You told me that earlier, George,
Well,
that's why I wanna get it out, because
okay.
I don't feel I should have to leave this, I don't feel I'm in conflict. If you do, then you want me to step out of the whole mill operations part of it, that's fine, let me know and I'll step out of it. But I phoned the Integrity Commission and everything, and I'm just waiting for an answer. I called them both today. But I can't see why I'm in conflict myself personally, but if it's passed unanimously, then I'll step up.
That's again, that's your.
That's right, that's what I
Decision
wanted
to
out
do it.
in open, like, I don't wanna have to, somebody says out the back door this way, everybody knows right now, that's what it is.
Okay. So moving forward into the discussion of the old mill property, how do we feel about going into in-camera about it to look, like, talk about numbers and things like that? Or is
Myself personally, I
that
feel it's,
something we wanna,
no, I
we
feel
can
personally
talk about-
like everybody should know, we're in we're basically have a gun to our head, either we want it or we don't. We can drag it out for 2 more meetings and then somebody else will get it and we won't have nothing. That's the only part I gotta say about it.
I think what I'm saying though is that if we do talk about it in camera, we might be able to come to an agreement to what we can bring forward to the investors. If we're discussing, CEO, what's your opinion on that?
It falls under one of the reasons to in camera is sale and negotiation of land,
Yeah.
but it's council's decision whether you want to discuss this openly or go in camera.
That's fine. Then no cameras,
You're
you
in
know.
camera, okay, so everyone in agreement to go in camera, okay. We're gonna go in camera for that one. We'll just wait for Councillor McKenzie. Yep. So, next up, we have a, presentation from Food Cycle Science. This is something that, we were approached with, I think, about a month ago, and, we decided to, receive a delegation from them. They're gonna give a presentation about their pilot project. And, sorry. I can't quite see her name. Christina, sorry.
Christina.
Christina. Hi, Christina. I'm Mayor Kuko. Welcome. You may begin your presentation.
Well, thank you very much, Mayor, members of council, staff, and any public there in attendance for having me. I'm just hoping I could share my screen to walk you through my presentation. Would the host be able to allow those privileges?
How do you do that?
I can.
If you right click on my picture, you should be able to make me a co-host.
That good?
That's perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay, no, gee.
All right, so thank you very much for having me. We had met Madam Mayor at the Roma conference, I believe, and I appreciate the invitation to speak in front of you all as a delegation. I'm here on behalf of Food Cycle Science and here to discuss a residential solution to food waste. So I'll tell you a little bit about Food Cycle Science. We are a Canadian company. We're based out of Ottawa, Ontario, and we're 100% focused on providing food waste diversion solutions. Now, we do that using our technology called the Food Cycler. You may recognize it through one that you can get through Vitamix as a countertop compost alternative. Now, we also have solutions for any type of food waste generator, small, medium, and large, through our commercial technologies. We have programs with schools and classrooms, but what I'm here to talk about today is our municipal programs, where we help communities keep food waste out of landfills. Our company is a finalist in the Impact Canada Food Waste Reduction Challenge, which I'll talk to you a little bit later in the presentation. And we are an approved supplier through Canoe Procurement of Canada. Now, we have partnerships to date with 72 municipalities across Canada who have signed on to a food cycler program. Some in the nearby area to you would be Terrace Bay. Hornpain was one of the first to do it, and Nipigon just a little bit to the south. Now, the problem with food waste, of course, is that it is avoidable. It accounts for a large portion of our household waste, often a majority, and it's made up of mostly liquid, which we're trucking around, and it can freeze in the winter and it's heavy. And on top of that, when food waste goes into a landfill, it's responsible for generating harmful greenhouse gases. So all of these factors make it so that food waste is something that has a strong municipal impact. Now, one of those impacts to municipalities is that since there is so much food waste coming from our households, it can fill up our landfill quickly. Operating a landfill, closing it, perhaps extending it is a major taxpayer burden, and we want to extend the lifespan for as long as possible. And then, as I alluded to before, when food waste goes into a landfill, because the environment is anaerobic or without oxygen, it tries to break down, and in that process, it creates methane, which is a greenhouse gas many times worse than CO2 and contributes to the effect of climate change that we're seeing today. And then in our communities, of course, when we have food waste in the bins outside, it can attract some unwanted animals and emit some odors, bears, raccoons, rats, other vermin that we simply don't want in our neighborhood. And it can also reduce trips to the waste site. It can reduce the requirement to collect so much in our hauling services as well. Now, we get asked quite often, well, we've solved this food waste problem already, haven't we? Because there are options out there. One is the curbside collection of green bins that millions of Canadians are accustomed to having, but this is more common in big cities with high population density, an expensive investment in infrastructure. So this can be cost prohibitive or operationally challenging to implement in smaller rural northern towns. And many people in your community might use something like a backyard composter, which is great. However, unfortunately, backyard composting isn't feasible for everyone. We still have the concern about odors, animals, wildlife. It's not a year-round solution. And the reality is participation rates in that have been stagnant for decades. Finally, we can continue to landfill our organics, but the long-term impacts, they're costly and they're harmful to our environment. So what we have proposed is a different way of dealing with our food waste that really focuses on making it easy to deal with and right in our homes. So we've built a small kitchen appliance. It's about the size of a bread machine, where you put your food scraps into a collection bucket that can include things like meat, fish, dairy, poultry, bones, pits, napkins, coffee grinds, the list goes on. And all you do is put it into the machine, press a button, and it will process that in under 8 hours or overnight. And what comes out is a nutrient-rich soil amendment that you can then use in gardening applications, shared with a community garden, a local farm, or something to that effect. We have two different models. One is the FC30, which is our original, and the other is the Maestro, which is our newest model. The biggest difference is in capacity. So they're about the same size unit, but the bucket inside is twice as big in the Maestro, so 2.5 and 5 liters respectively. Now, when you take a full bucket of that wet, smelly food waste, it takes 4 to 8 hours to process, or overnight. It uses very little electricity, equivalent to a laptop, if you will, and just a few cents per cycle in electricity cost. As I mentioned, there are many beneficial uses for this biomass. It is sterile, it's odorless, it's completely inert, so it can be stored indefinitely until you're ready to use it, whichever method you choose. Now, from an environmental standpoint, the food cycler is a net negative carbon solution. What that means is that just like planting trees or putting solar panels on your home, when you use a food cycler to avoid sending food waste to the landfill, you're avoiding more greenhouse gases than you are creating in the process. And the same cannot be said for other municipal operations that require trucks and facilities and rely on large fleet of emitting vehicles. Now, from an environment or an economic standpoint, what we see is that the traditional waste management methods are heavily burdened with process costs and emissions. whereas the food cycler is more of a decentralized approach where residents are accountable for the waste that they're generating. They do that right at home without the need for any additional costs or services. So there is often a return on investment through this method. Now, one thing that we've learned from working with our municipal partners is that their residents are very interested in being part of the solution. They want to try new things. They want options. They want their government to bring these things to the community. So the food cycler is something innovative and tangible that residents can use at home. And they don't need to live in a big city to divert their organics. We truly believe that all Canadians, no matter where you live or what time of year it is, you should have a diversion option available to you. And then we have the impact of some regulations that are coming down from different levels of government, where you may have targets set for diversion or environmental mitigation that you can use the food cycler to mitigate. Now, we've run pilot programs in over 40 municipalities and almost 5,000 households as of today. And the results of our pilots are overwhelmingly positive. We have very high participation rates. We have very high recommendation rates. And we're able to achieve a significant amount of net new diversion. One other interesting fact that we've learned through our pilots is that once people are using the food cycler and they're becoming more aware of how much they're generating in the first place, they resolve to prevent that from happening in the first place. So there's an awareness and prevention component to our program as well. And with the success of our pilots, we have some communities who have opted to expand their programs to every household. For example, in Nelson, BC, they're in phase 1 of implementing that to every household in their city of 11,000 people. Now, earlier in the presentation, I mentioned we're finalists in this Government of Canada Challenge. We currently have some federal funding through the Food Waste Reduction Challenge, and we're using that to invest and subsidize some of the cost of our pilot programs. Now, these will help us move into the last stage, which may come with more funding if we're lucky. And today, what I'm going to talk about is a partnership pilot program. The way that it works is that residents would purchase a food cycler at a subsidized rate from the township. They'll use that for 3 months. During that time, all they need to do is track the number of times they run a cycle. At the end of that 12-week period, Food Cycle Science will administer a survey to those folks. We'll evaluate quantitatively and qualitatively how the program went. We'll report back to you in a feasibility study of how much you have diverted, how many greenhouse gas emissions you've avoided, and the viability of the food cycler solution in your community. And this is tailored to you. We have grant writing support as well if we wish to pursue an application for further funding to expand the program after that point in time. So this is our pilot program subsidy model, where we have the retail price at the top. We have a municipal discount that we apply in addition to our federal funding, which offset the cost of the unit by 50%. We then suggest that the township subsidizes $100 per unit or per household, leaving the resident to pay just the remainder of the price. This way, this is accessible to everyone, and we have everybody invested in the program. And I'd like to point out, after the pilot program, the food cycler is theirs to keep and continue using and for you to benefit from. For a municipality of your size, we would recommend a 50 household pilot program. So the cost for that would be $5,000 plus shipping and applicable taxes. So we would invite you to partner with us in this food waste reduction challenge. Now, we think your community would be a great fit for the benefits of our program. So tonight, I'd ask that you receive our presentation as information, and if interested in pursuing a pilot program, to refer this to staff so that we can work with them on the right recommendation for you. Thank you very much, and I'm available for questions if you have any.
Does anybody have any questions?
I have a couple.
Okay, Councillor Hart, you have the table?
What is the failure rate of these machines over time?
Our failure rate is somewhere between 1 and 1.5%, which for a small appliance is quite good. And we have a replacement and repair program as well.
There is a repair program, not just a throwaway program?
Correct. So the Maestro has been built in a modular fashion such that we can replace parts if needed without the need for sourcing, an e-waste provider to recycle the units, but they are fully recyclable at end of life.
Okay. The price points, I didn't quite, were they? For a resident, you're looking at 150 for the
That's-
2 and 300 for the 5.
That's correct.
Okay, can't make out from this distance. How do they process banana peels?
They process them quite well.
Okay, it's always a composting.
Just remember to take the sticker off.
Yeah. Okay, and they actually produce. What's the basic way that they work to produce the soil down to that level? Because I have composters, and the problem with composters up here is they only work for about 8 months of the year or 6 months of the year. And they just take forever.
Yeah, that's right. So essentially what the food cycler is doing is taking that 6 to 8 week period where it takes a traditional composter to break everything down and accelerating that into an overnight process. So it's using a combination of heat, air, and agitation to break that down. And it will heat it up to such a degree that harmful pathogens are killed off. It's even been proven to kill off E. coli and other harmful bacteria. And then when you use that as a fertilizer back into the soil, the microbial reactivation will take place and it will finish off the composting process and provide all that nutrients into your soil that you can grow healthy plants and more food.
So there's no secondary additives to it that you have to add.
No additives with our device.
Okay, it's good. Thank you.
Anybody else have, no, anybody else have any questions? Okay. Okay, thank you, Christina. And we will, we'll have staff get in touch if, we'll to let you know what we've decided at some point in the near future.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me and have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay. Item number 6, Public Works, a building inspector contract. This is resolution number 056/2023. Moved by Councillor McKenzie, seconded by Councillor Pelletier, that this council hereby approves the hiring of Paul Manzon to provide the services required under the Ontario Building Code Act for a period of 1 year upon signing of the agreement by the mayor and the clerk. Okay, Councillor McKenzie.
I just had one question for our CAO there. Kelly, I was just wondering, does Mr. Mansu have to have his own liability insurance?
No, we cover it. There's an arrangement with the public works superintendent that he'll be doing a lot of the groundwork,
Okay.
going to the location, getting told what to take pictures of, visiting, documenting, just to keep the cost down.
Okay,
This, the same arrangement is in Red Rock as well.
okay, thank you.
Well,
Any other questions? All right, all in favor? And carried. Number 7, economic development, minutes of February 8th, 2023. Resolution 57/2023, moved by Councillor Pelletier, seconded by Councillor Sakamoto, that the minutes of the Nipigon Economic Development Committee on February 8th, 2023 are hereby approved. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Councillor McKenzie?
Yes, thank you. Just about the about cycling along the Trans-Canada Highway. I don't know, we don't have too many shoulders in our neck of the woods. I'm just wondering,
That's just that's where when they're redoing the highways now, they're actually adding those under some of these grants. That's what the discussion came up. So when they did the Jackfish River area, they actually added the paved. And as they do the roads further on, they're gonna be adding to the paved.
that was my only comment because we've had fatalities here.
Yeah.
And it's not been good, so.
Yeah.
But that, you know, like I enjoy cycling and I know a lot of people do, so I'm not saying that it's a bad idea. I just,
Councillor Sakamoto?
Right, that, just adding to that, that cycling organization that are planning from they would like to connect from Southern Ontario to, the Pigeon River border. And they've been working with MTO, and that's the agreement, is to widen the shoulders every time they do an upgrade to the highway. So it should make it a lot better than it has been.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So approval of the EDC minutes, all in favor? And carried. Eight, fire department council representative. Okay, 058, resolution 058, 2023. Moved by Councillor McKenzie, seconded by Councillor Pelche, that this council appoints the following council representative on each committee of council. Fire Department Committee, Councillor Catherine Sakamoto. All in favor? And carried. Resolution number 59, 2023. This is cemetery, number 9 cemetery, minutes of February 17th, 2023. Moved by Councillor Pelche, seconded by Councillor McKenzie, that the minutes of the Cliffside Cemetery Committee on February 17th, 2023 are hereby approved. Is there any discussion? Councillor McKenzie.
Yeah, I just, one thing that had come up, was that, there was an inquiry about, perhaps a resident of Red Rock sitting on the committee. And, I was just gonna, ask if that were the case, if that person, perhaps because they're not, you know, like they're not within our municipality or paying taxes, but, perhaps that person could be, brought on as an observer. And I was just wondering if our CEO had any thoughts along those lines, or?
I didn't find anything that restricts or prohibits anyone from outside of municipality joining a committee. We've had other committees where they've had individuals attend as guests. Mr. Elliott attends one of the committees as a guest, and doesn't participate. He's more there as a resource. So that wouldn't be something that's new to us. Council wishes.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions or comments about them? Okay. So at the minutes of the Cliffside Cemetery Committee, meeting on February 17th, 2023 are hereby approved. All in favor? And carried. All right, 10A, museum minutes from February 13th, 2023. This is resolution 60, 2023, moved by Councillor McKenzie, seconded by Councillor Pelche, that the minutes of the Nipigon Museum Committee of February 13, 2023 are hereby approved. Does anyone have any comments, questions, discussion? Councillor McKenzie, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. Just an update on things that are happening with the museum. They're looking for the installation of an outside bulletin board, a fire alarm system, to pay for additional interviews for the museum, and to upload some videos. And I'm just like, I believe there was a resolution within this committee that carry on for this year. I'm just wondering if everyone would be in agreement with that, or? Because budget is coming up, right?
You're talking about the budget, the budgets.
Yeah, so that will be addressed with the budget then?
I believe
Yeah?
so, yeah,
Okay.
except for the one item that was already approved, I believe, the narrations, the Nipigon narrations.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there was, in the minutes there, I can't remember if it was this meeting or the last meeting, but there was a proposal, because it's the 50th anniversary of the museum, that they were looking at developing a poster with 50 photographs of 50 fishermen or whatever. And it would be kind of a promotional thing for the museum, and also a bit of a fundraiser. And I know at last night's meeting I was there, and we just wanted it's going to take some time to get that organized, especially try to get it done before the summer. My wife Karen is involved with it, and she did some preliminary work in it. In order to get the poster up and running, it would cost about $1,000, but that would be recovered through, through fundraising. And if everyone, if we sold 50 photographs of 50 Fisher people, whatever, there's $2,500, so that, the cost would be covered. And I just wouldn't, I don't know if we need a resolution from council that we support that, but I'd like to get some kind of an indication from council. I can pass back to the museum committee right away so that we can start on it. So what's the feeling?
That's a good idea. The fundraiser, yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's a great idea.
So just CEO Kelly, do we have to have a resolution to that effect, or?
No, but careful with the word fundraising, because municipalities cannot technically fundraise, but you can be cost neutral when you say you're selling.
Okay.
The revenue can cancel out the expense, which we do in a number of other areas. So I don't believe you need a resolution. There is the budget, that $1,000 would fit the budget quite easily.
Okay, maybe the fundraiser, I can rephrase it as promoting the museum.
Sure. Yeah.
So, okay, so I'd like to thank you very much for that.
Community thoughts.
Mhm.
Yeah. So let's get the word out. If you want to get your picture on a nice poster for the 50th anniversary.
Not gonna be the cruise anyway.
Okay, does anyone have any more,
Any other
any
questions?
other questions? I just have a couple, or is it one? Can you clarify which board they're talking about that needs replacing? Is that the one with?
It says the
Is that the one
purchase
on
and
the-
install the outside bulletin board.
Is, like on the hair salon? Is that the one you're talking about?
No, on the outside of the museum.
Oh, on the outside of the museum itself, and that's faded, like that big mural is faded, is that what it is, or? Sure, what they're referring to is,
Yeah,
It's in the doorway, right?
oh, it's
Yeah,
inside the
it's just
lobby.
inside the lobby. There's one
Okay, okay, I can't think of what, cause I'm looking at that mural, like. I didn't
no,
think
it's
it
not the
was
mural,
faded.
it's the-
Okay,
I was lost too. I'm like, what?
yeah.
okay. Great, okay, I think that's everything.
Thank you.
So that the minutes of the Nipigon Museum Committee of February 13th, 2023 are hereby approved, all in favor? And carried. So the next item is under sundries, exit interview policy. Resolution 61, 2023, moved by Councillor Pelche, seconded by Councillor McKenzie. That this council hereby approves the exit interview policy for the Township of Nipigon. Okay, so there is, under the scope, we have to replace, put a number in there, participation in exit interviews for full-time employees and is also for part-time employees with blank years service, only leaving their employment with the Township of Nipigon. So I think we talked about 1 year of service for part-time.
Yeah, I had proposed 2 years, but
Or 2 years,
I'm good with what the rest would agree to.
okay. Anyone have any comments about that?
Whatever, I'm good with it.
CEO Packman,
So to be careful, part-time employees may include students.
students are a couple of months away,
That's still part-time.
but if they're, that's the caveat there, if they're, that we put in for at least 1 year.
So you want after 1 year?
Oh, yes, yeah, 1 year or over, yeah,
So,
yeah, and that would, take away any, like the seasonal that are there for maybe 4 months, or the students that are just, there temporarily.
Did you have to put that in the calendar year too? Because some of those students might be
4 years.
4 years.
Yeah, I think it would be the contract, right?
Yeah.
The contract. So 1 year is good for everybody? Okay. Does anyone have any other questions? Counselor Sakamoto?
We've had a few emails, edit things going around, and I've kind of lost track, but I think the last one that I saw, I think, Mary had a couple suggested edits that you were directing about.
Yeah.
In the process.
into the
that I thought
process.
would be useful.
Okay,
I would support those.
okay, and I don't think I noted, did I note those down?
But I don't remember the exact wording.
No, yeah. And then we'll just take a quick look at the questions that, CO Packnine emailed to us. At the end of the day there, if everyone can take a look at those. If you didn't get them, let me know and I can read them out. Because those will be part of the policy, because the questions will be common to, everyone who completes this interview. So, does everyone have the questions in front of them? Do you want me to read them out, or do you want me to put them? Okay,
And so we understand that these may change somewhat if there's a different HR consultant. Is that what you?
I mean, I guess that's possible, but I think that we should, if it's part of the policy, it should stay common unless we decide to change and then the policy to add
Yeah.
questions that, along the line, there might.
Yeah.
How things change sometimes in life and.
Yeah.
But I think they should be common for sure. Yeah. Everyone's okay with the questions? Okay. I'll just gotta get back to my. It's my package. Sorry, guys. Here we go. Sorry. Okay. And there's just a spelling thing in here that I found too. It's a immediate follow-up. I think it says immediately somewhere in there and I didn't note where it is, but not that that would matter. Right, okay, so the last paragraph, my suggestion had been to oh wait, that was the annual summary. I'm just looking for the report part. Within 2 weeks. In
In the secure format.
Yeah. Okay, a secure format is there, okay. All right, then I'm fine with that. Okay. So that this council hereby approves the exit interview policy for the Township of Nipigon. All in favor? And carried. Okay. 11B, Nipigon Public Library Minutes of 2022. Resolution 62, 2023.
There should not be a resolution.
Oh, sorry. Oh,
That's
this
for
is
the
something
board.
else. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's it.
So no resolution for the library. So library, just assumed it was the next thing up. Does anyone have any questions about the library minutes or any comments? Okay, so that's just for information purposes. C, library board member resignation. Resolution number 62, 2023, moved by Councillor McKenzie, seconded by Councillor Pelletier, that this council hereby accepts Maria De Lorenzi's resignation from the Nipigon Public Library Board with regret. All in favor? And carried. D, Ministry of Transportation Class EA Notice of Study. This is just for informational purposes. Does anyone have anything to bring up on that? Okay, hearing nothing, moving on to E, Ministry of Natural Resources Public Lands Act. Again, that's informational purposes. And anyone have any comments about it?
I do have a comment because I did notice an article on another news source and this has to do with accommodations on water, not. And they had reported that it actually had to do with land,
Hmm,
so that would be a major issue.
right.
So.
Okay. Okay, hearing nothing else, we'll move on. F, Association of Municipalities of Ontario. Again, this is their watch file newsletter, just information. Anyone have anything about that they want to say? Hearing nothing. Rural Ontario Municipal Association, this is Roma. Again, this is more information. H, MPAC in Touch, February 2023. So this is, again, more information from MPAC. Any comments from anybody on that?
The only thing I'll point out is impact, when they did their presentation at your integrity commissioner training. You can see that with the new assessment, they're forecasting a 40.9 billion in anticipated growth for assessments this year across Ontario. So that's why when we say we're trying to plan taxes, it's like we have to see into the future, because if we raise it too much and our assessments go up 15%, we'll have people will be getting hit very hard. It's very hard right now to budget because they have not done the assessment. It was supposed to be done in 2020. Now we're going into 2024.
So they are doing the assessment this year? Is that what they're saying?
I've not, I've
Yeah.
read that yet. They're forecasting it.
Yeah, there's a lot of,
Maybe.
in here. Doesn't make it very clear, does it?
No,
No,
doesn't seem, yeah.
I feel like it's just something that's been put out to keep us quiet or something, I don't know, because it's kind of confusing, but anyway. Other municipal resolutions, Township of Grimsby Municipal Heritage Register. So maybe you can just explain this a little bit, CEO.
So there's certain buildings that qualify as heritage, which then qualify you for certain types of funding to preserve the heritage building.
And they want, I think, more time, instead of, I think it's a 60-day demolition provision, they'd rather have 2 years maximum to provide more time for the municipality to consider the heritage government properties before they're demolished.
60 days isn't a lot of time.
No, it's a lot of time to do anything. So there is a resolution here, 63/2023, moved by Councillor McKenzie, seconded by Councillor Pelletier, that this council hereby supports the Township of Grimsby's resolution affirming the importance of the Municipal Heritage Register and its role in preserving the cultural heritage of municipalities throughout the province. All in favor? And carried. The town of Grimsby's been busy here. I got another one from them. So this is resolution 64/2023. Moved by Councillor Pelletier, seconded by Councillor McKenzie, that this council hereby supports the Township of Grimsby's resolution expressing support for women in politics and their right to participate in a political environment that is free from misogyny and harassment and where everyone feels equal. Is there any discussion on that one? Councillor Sakamoto.
I hate this stuff sometimes. I didn't realize that there were still barriers. And I think everybody deserves to be treated with respect.
Yeah.
All
genders.
so to me, it's kind of a non-item, but if it's there and they need our support, that's fine, but.
Okay. All right, all in favor? Carry. Okay, Municipality of Trent Lakes oath of office. I don't think there's no resolution on that one, eh, CEO? I think it's just, was there? Oh, here we go. Let's just find another one. So this will be 65, resolution 65/2023. Moved by Councillor Pelletier, seconded by Councillor McKenzie, that this council hereby supports the Municipality of Trent Lakes resolution to request to the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing that the following changes be made to the municipal oath of office. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III, and that I will faithfully observe the laws of Canada, including the Constitution, which recognizes and affirms the Aboriginal and treaty rights of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, and carried. Okay. We will do, should we do any other business before we go in camera? Okay. Any other business? Let's start with our new counselor. Do you have any other business to bring up? Anything you want to mention?
Moment.
Okay.
I don't think you.
Councilor Mackenzie. Councilor Sakamoto, any other business? Councilor Peltier? No. Just for me, we're looking at, rescheduling the budget meeting, the public budget meeting. We'll be doing that, once we check our calendars and everything. And then we'll let everybody know, and just rescheduling our budget meeting as well, our capital budget meeting as well. So of course, everybody will be made aware of that as soon as that's rescheduled. So we've been getting some questions about the public, which is good. It means that people are interested in learning about the budget and giving their input, which is fantastic. So I'm hoping to get that going next week. And that is all I have. Staff have any? No. See what's happening? No. Okay. So. Resolutions 65, 2023. Oh, sorry, 66. I was just reading it right off the last one. 66, thank you. That this council do now convene to an in-camera session to discuss potential land sales and identifiable individuals.